Well, we have a cool front sweeping across Minnesota today, creating another hot day out ahead of it, but will it be able to create any thunderstorms? There's a slight chance. Cooler temperatures move in for the weekend, but how much heat moves right back in next week? And today's the day that Death Valley could get close to its all-time September record. So here's what our cool front looks like on satellite imagery. I put on the streamlines, which are the flow of air basically across the region too. So you can see that northwest wind already blowing in across the western and northern parts of Minnesota, where temperatures are gonna be a lot cooler. Broken line of clouds. There were more showers earlier. That's all kind of fizzled out, but that's gonna be the same area to watch later in the day, especially this evening. Looks like some thunderstorms will pop from northwestern Wisconsin into southeastern Minnesota. This could fill in a little bit. There aren't going to be a lot of them, but what does develop, just because of the warmth and humidity around, very slight chance of some severe weather. Marginal risk, which is a level 1 out of 5, and this is mostly southeast of the Twin Cities. I wouldn't count on it, but there might be one thunderstorm warning later on. The latest drought monitor yesterday shows just a little change, a little bit of improvement over the last week. Severe drought decreased from 2 to 1%, and now only includes, you can see that orange blob, basically the southwest metro, from about the airport officially into some of the southwestern suburbs. And it was quite the divide in rainfall in August. The east metro largely made up the summer deficits with 9 to 11 inches of total summer rainfall. Keep in mind about 12 is normal, but you can see these southwest pockets of the metro that just got missed by a lot of it. So that's where we saw under 7 inches of total summer rainfall. So the heat subsides for the weekend, but the question is how much of it returns next week. This is looking at the upper level pattern, so where we have that ridge of high pressure or those heat domes, and some of it tries to make its way back in. When we look at the average of all the models, we're clearly cooler this weekend, and then the average of the models brings us back into the mid 80s next week, which isn't necessarily oppressively hot, but that is almost 10 degrees above normal by next week. Big discrepancies though in the models. You have the American model, which continues to be really out to lunch, very extreme on the temperatures. It's been very wrong the last several weeks. And then most of the models are in the 80s next week. Either way, it's going to be getting warmer, but nothing like this. Death Valley today, the forecast about 123 degrees for the high temperature. 125 is their all-time September record. 126 is the all-time hottest temperature recorded on Earth in September. And of course, it has climate change fingerprints all over it. The climate shift index from Climate Central, 5 being the highest level of a climate fingerprint, really all over the West with this heat wave, but also in some of our high temperatures yesterday and today. And especially on the low temperature, it was just 71 at MSP, a lot of warm overnight lows last night, and definitely climate change fingerprints on that, but most noticeably, big brown blob in the whole Southwest where it's as high as it gets, a 5. Definitely climate change is making these temperatures possible that otherwise would be almost impossible in the Southwest. 88 degrees today, one more pretty warm day, muggy too, and just that slightest chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Again, the better chance is going to be mainly just southeast of the Twin Cities and into Wisconsin this evening and overnight. 70s for the weekend, beautiful, but it will be a little cooler and the humidity will be lower. So if you're going to be in and out of a pool or a lake, you'll notice the dry air making it feel a little cooler. And then temperatures are warming back up. We've got more summer-like readings, 80s as we head into next week, and continuing the dry, sunny pattern overall.